All right, everybody, welcome back for another breakdown. Today we are looking at the second in a series of these Amazon commercials shot by, well, you know who. Okay, so let's get into it. If you have seen this look before and you're like me, you're probably thinking, okay, opera, big, old place, lots of candles, very dark and moody. Where have I seen this before? It's like anything in cinematography. Once you see something done once, at least for me, I always associate it with that, or people doing versions of what someone else did. And for me, this kind of scene, let's go bigger so you can actually see what's going on. This for me is Adam Arkapaw Macbeth. This is a little bit brighter than Macbeth, but all of the same sort of elements in there. Maybe it's well, it's not really the time period, is it, Patrick? Not at all, but it's the same idea. Some big sausage balloon lights in the air for the big wide. And then we're gonna talk about some of the little key points there about just being on the dark side of things and how easy that makes it, and how one decision, again, choosing that side of the line and where the key comes from makes all the difference. Really, choosing where the camera is makes the lighting possible. So we're gonna start. Let's see how we go. Okay, we got Big Pen first up. That's never a good sign. Let's do it. Beautiful looking space. First of all, we got the whole candle situation. We're gonna have to balance those, right? That always happens with the candles. It's a big thing. It used to be bigger in the film days, but now it's pretty easy to see and just get just the right amount of level and just the right amount of color to that. This is a beautiful looking image though, right? Like we know, okay, this is really, really nice. We're not gonna talk about why, even though we could. It's the same principle for upstage key, tiny, tiny bit of roll off into the neg there, and then just a cool environment to be shooting in. Really glorious shot to start off. And just remember what those shadows look like on her face. Again, for some reason here, I don't know why, this is the one part where we switched sides of the line for some reason. And it's like, and this is also the one where this is really the only one that feels lit. Like you notice the exposure on him versus the exposure on the rest of the people in the background. It's kind of a little bit sourcey, but this could be grade too. This could be power window this and then take everything down using the squeeze and drop. But interesting that we chose to flop the sides of the line. Other than that though, okay, here, we're gonna do our little, this is always good. Like, forget what movie it is, maybe Four Weddings and a Funeral, where they have shots like this where you're just revealing characters. But notice, again, we're shooting towards the dark side. We're not on that side of the aisle. We're not lighting from this way. We're lighting from upstage. So we get all of the shape shooting into all of the darkness, much like backlighting that we looked at a few weeks ago. Beautiful. And having these little highlights, the things that make the darkness feel dark is having the highlights, right? Beautiful looking dolly, nice move, good on the action. Okay, we've come around a little bit more and we're adding highlights into our lady here. And this one, okay, you could also say that this one there's a little bit of sourciness to it, but man, it falls off really, really nicely. And when I say sourciness, I'm saying, look at the exposure difference here, and then on the peasants in the background, right? That's the level difference that I'm talking about. Because what would this source be if we were in this period in time? What would be making something light up like that? There's not many things, right? Candles don't really do it. This is nice. Same thing, we switch back to the other side of the line. And then here she comes in all her glory. Just look at this lady. Oh my God, what are you shooting, digital? Yes. Okay, the double highlights, again, a little bit strange, but man, we get some serious softness there around the face, and still I like the little peppering in of these as well. That's looking good. Single highlight there, and in comes our man. And our man is getting backlight, which is nice. He's getting key from the left, and we're getting all this shape from the right, which we're about to see. But if you notice just little things in here, right? It's just these little things always add up, and these people are just so good at doing that. If you consistently do it, that's how you get great results. And even with the orientation of this, you see we're not flat on it? You're shooting a little bit into this dimension of it, right? A little bit into that, not just flat on. And that creates the depth. And keep going. Okay, so now, see how we're on this side of the line with this guy? Whereas in that other shot, the camera was over here looking here. But because now we flopped to the line going this way, now we get the benefit of shooting into the shadow. So this guy looks really nice. And this doesn't feel, at least to me, doesn't feel sourcey. But you can feel just how much more shadow and how much harsher the light is there versus there, right? And this is something you will find every single time you go into close-up mode. Right? You're gonna soften it out a little bit. You're gonna be a little bit easier on the shadows, or maybe you go a little bit harder on the shadows. It's just gonna be much more controlled. Then as you bump out wider, it gets a little bit harsher, right? And it's just varying degrees of hiding that darkness is the skill. This guy, confused. What did he just say? Hiding the darkness? That makes no sense, Patrick. No, it doesn't. But I say words just to fill up airtime. I like this one too. Again, doesn't feel sourcey. Got a little highlight in there too. This doesn't feel too different than that, right? That's what I'm saying. That's how you mix it in. And then you've got this nice, what do you got? Probably like a sausage light, a balloon light up at the top, just giving you nice ambient. The thing about if you're gonna go in one of these old places where they won't let you, I don't know, put in cranes or wall busters or whatever it's going to be, whatever big your room is going to be. The tricky part is that you wanna keep that light off of the back walls. And it helps if you've got cool, interesting back walls that soak up a lot of light. But even still, you want to do everything in your power to make sure that this top light does not go on those back walls, or else it's going to ruin. Just imagine if the back wall was lit up at this level, right? If it was competing with his face in terms of level, well, then you don't know exactly where to look. It's a lot harder to focus, and you don't want to do that. So with the top light, with the room tone ambient, just make sure it doesn't spill all over the walls. And I mean, this is about, again, this comes back to that shot where if you can light this shot, you can light the entire commercial because you know you're just going to be doing this. So if you're going to practice at home on your own, just practice getting this shot, right? You can do this shot by yourself. We've got key in the eyeballs. We've got a little bit of light over here. We've got neg here, and we've got top light. And the hard part is balancing all these things to make it look nice. As soon as you can balance all these things to make it look nice, it's not like the cinematographer is not lighting. Where's a big wide shot? The cinematographer isn't lighting this shot all by himself, just going around, putting up, like hoisting up the helium balloon light and then lighting up all the practicals. No, you're just coming up with the idea and then you're spouting it off to the whole team and they're actually making you look really, really good. You're just coming up with the idea of this, well, we're gonna be here and we're gonna do this movement and we want it to look like this. You're communicating all that, but you're not actually setting it all up. So as long as you can communicate and set up this shot, where is it? This one, you can do the whole ad because everything plays off of this setup. The side of the line, the placement of the light, the softness, the backlight, it all plays in this shot. So build this shot, everything else follows, right? It's just a matter of now, as we get bigger and bigger, more ideas come into it and the more the 1% add-ons can affect things. Here, you're not really doing much in the 1% world. This is just about getting the lighting and the balancing right. As you go wider, it's like, okay, what else can we do? We can throw things in the foreground. We can throw other things there. We can be shooting into the L of the room, so there's more depth. We can get little practicals in there. We can do all this stuff that just makes it more visually appealing and interesting. And so more people will hire you, so you can laugh more, get more cash, and just rain it out on the world at your leisure. And I'm out. Even here, okay, you have to imagine that at this location, we can place these people anywhere. We have full, complete control of this entire environment. Why place him looking this way and looking into all these different corners, right? Because they create variance. Light, dark, okay, light. You got this little leak back here of light. Like this is the stuff that isn't quite as easy. And it really takes time. If you don't know that this stuff makes it look nicer, well, you can't get there on the day and be like, okay, it's gonna take, you tell the first AD, well, it's gonna take about an hour for us to set up, get everything ready, let's line them up. And then you go, wait a second, we see back here. And I didn't anticipate bringing a light. And you just say to the AD, okay, hold on, 1 sec. It's gonna take 10 minutes. We're gonna put up a sky panel back there. We gotta get the color right. 10 minutes turns into 25 minutes. Now maybe you can do that with one shot. But if you're doing that every single setup, people start to get upset. And by people, I mean the entire crew and probably most importantly, the director, because they're losing time with the talent. And then the producer's upset because you're falling behind and they're gonna have to pay people. And then you start looking nervous and then you start blaming sound, right? If in doubt, blame sound. Just say, oh, we're not gonna mic him up for this? Are we gonna boom in? Just let's see the boom. Oh, it's in the shot here. We just might have to come a little bit wider to accommodate for sound the entire time. Lighting is just going back there frantically, like using the settings on the sky panel, like don't mess it up, boys. And that's how you get out of something like that. So very interesting, even in this world where you can control everything, how things get placed to create as much depth as you can. Right? It's not an accident that these people continue to get the same great results. It's skill and experience, but you have to be able to recognize those guitar chords to be able to put them where you want them. Okay, that's our look at this commercial. Hopefully you got something out of it, and we will see you in the next one.